Did anyone see it? Did you see him take me? Did someone take my jersey? I put it in my bag.
The NFL is the greatest reality show on the planet. Forget the Kardashians and everything else. This is the greatest reality show.
Someone stole my game jersey.
You have the greatest comeback in NFL history.
Patriots win the Super Bowl!
You have the greatest caper in sports history.
Tom, did you find your jersey? You didn't find it?
The winning quarterback's jersey somehow disappeared.
I wanted to keep it. I put it in my bag. Something happened to it. What the hell happened to my jersey?
Welcome to NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas, and a Super Bowl 51 between the New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons.
There's no way what happened that night could have actually happened that night. Couldn't have happened, unless obviously Tom Brady involved.
This offense isn't going anywhere right now. 28-3.
Gotta play harder. Gotta play tougher, tougher, everything. Everything we got.
It was such an emotional game. His mother was battling cancer, so the Super Bowl was the first game that her oncologist had cleared her to attend all season long.
My family had gone through a lot in that entire season. I mean, having that and then being down 28-3 and, you know, having this desperation as a team and then just slowly chipping away. It
would be an unprecedented comeback if the Patriots climb out of this hole to win their 5th Super Bowl.
Brady takes the snap, back pedals, fires left.
Pass is caught. Touchdown. Brady. End zone touchdown.
It's a one-score game.
Got locked in now, laser focus.
The Patriots need to go 91 yards and then convert for 2. Shotgun snap to Brady. Stands in, throws down the middle for Edelman. Ball's tipped, and Julian diving for it.
I caught it.
And we've seen a lot of crazy finishes. I don't necessarily know that I have ever seen a game quite like this.
Clock continues to tick. Patriots down by 8.
Handoff. Touchdown, James White.
57 seconds to go, and 2 for the Tide. Tom takes the snap. Quick throw to Amendola.
Amendola's in. This is a tie game. Don't ever count Tom Brady out.
Let's go score and win this thing, baby. For your mom. For your mom, bro.
Tom Brady delivered in the biggest way that you possibly can. I mean, he engineered the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history.
Brady at his 31, winds up, goes a pass, catch made by Amendola.
On Hogan. Tom Brady trying to engineer the drive for 5. 2 yards from a 5th Super Bowl championship.
Toss to White. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl! What a comeback! If there was any doubt coming into this game about Tom Brady and where he ranks, nobody's ever won more Super Bowls, nobody's ever been better.
Are you kidding me? What I say at halftime, it's gonna be a hell of a story. I love you, bro.
Unbelievable.
Going through all the things that we went through with my family just made it so much more meaningful.
5 Super Bowl rings, each one is special, but that one seemed to be a little bit different than the others. It was the ring that passed him by his childhood hero, Montana, and what he was going through with his mom.
With his mother, Galen, she made it to her first game this season, and this was the one to see.
Oh, Tommy, we're so blessed.
Also having my kids there all for the first time. In 2014, my daughter didn't come to the game, so this was her first Super Bowl too. So I remember being up on the podium in 2016, knowing what it meant to my family for us to be standing up there. The only thing I've really kept over the years is some game balls.
The Patriots are Super Bowl champions!
I still have at least one game-used ball from every Super Bowl sitting in my office at home.
Pats have had to wait a decade for another title.
I never really kept a jersey or a helmet. I knew I wanted to keep that 51 jersey because of everything that it meant for, you know, our family. And I just thought this would be a really cool one to keep. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever get back to another Super Bowl. You know, this is just a really cool piece of memorabilia.
On the field, he took off his shoulder pads and his jersey and he handed them to a team staffer. And then he was on the field for the post-game celebration.
We're bringing this sucker home!
And I think probably about 20 to 30 minutes later, he rode a golf cart back to the locker room.
I really wanted that jersey. I remember vividly having my black bag sitting in my locker and putting it, stuffing it down into my bag, because a lot of the times these things just kind of disappear and you really don't know where they go. You don't really know who has ownership of a jersey or a ball. If I throw this back into the laundry bin, I'm not sure I'd ever see it again. I went to the bathroom, I wiped my eye black off. I saw Jimmy and I saw Jacoby, and we actually took a picture together inside of like the bathroom. So when I went back out into the locker room, I went over to my locker and I realized, God, there's a lot of people here. Let me check on the jersey. Well, sure enough, I looked in my bag and there was no jersey. And I thought, that's really strange. I just put it in there. I knew I wanted to keep that jersey. I knew I didn't leave it somewhere where anyone could find it. Like, what the hell happened to my jersey?
Did anyone see it? Did you see him take it? Thanks, Seth. Hey, did someone take my jersey? I put it in my bag. I absolutely 100% put it in my bag. Someone took it, baby.
The security guard brought the jersey and the pads. He said, well, he came back in and said, can you come in here? He took his jersey off the pads and put it in his back.
I went immediately over to the equipment staff and I said, guys, where's the jersey? And they were like, we don't know. We didn't touch it. Our equipment manager said, God, the same thing happened in your 2014 jersey. I don't know where it is. And I said, really? I couldn't imagine really what took place.
My name is Richard S. Farley, and I am the NFL security rep to the New England Patriots. So I work for the National Football League, not the team. Right after the game, Tom Brady came out of the locker room, and he looked at me and he said, you know, they stole my jersey. I said, what?
Tom, did you find your jersey? You didn't find it? You think someone's taken it, or?
Yeah, it's gonna be on eBay at some point.
Oh man, sorry to hear that, man.
When I spoke to Dick, it was like, I wanted to keep it. I put it in my bag. Something happened to it. Maybe you should look into it. And, you know, he really took it from there.
I said, we'll get that back. I promise you we'll get that back. Figuring we would get it back. He said, no, they stole 49 too, and I never got that one back. I said, I didn't know they stole Super Bowl 49 jersey. He goes, yeah, they took that as well.
Brady won the game. He won a 5th ring. He won the trophy, but Brady also lost last night. He lost something pretty important, his jersey.
Do you have any update on where the jersey is?
Well, I didn't. The jersey, I put it in my bag and then I came out and it wasn't there anymore. So it's unfortunate because that's a nice piece of memorabilia. So if it shows up on eBay somewhere, someone let me know. We'll try to track that down.
At 2 p.m. on Monday, the Houston Police Department filed a police report for a missing item from a complainant, Tom Brady. They had his height, his weight, and it was a t-shirt, shirt, blouse valued at $500,000.
My name is Brian Brasokis. I'm Special Agent with the FBI. I've been investigating the sports memorabilia market for probably the last 12 to 15 years, pursuing either fraud cases or theft cases. The sports memorabilia market is $1 billion market. It is from buying an object from maybe a store in the middle of the mall, going all the way up to buying the most expensive baseball card in the world. The National Sports Collectors Convention, that is the bread and butter of the industry. If you are a collector, you want to make your pilgrimage to the National. There is A to Z of collectibles there.
This is, without a question, the Super Bowl of the sports collectibles field.
There are sports cards, the autograph segment,
There you go.
and also the game used segment.
Game-worn uniforms are the pinnacle of the hobby. They retire people's uniform numbers. They don't retire the bat, they don't retire the shoes, so that's the pinnacle.
Each jersey tells a story. Tells a story of a game, tells a story of a season.
This time it's real. And the 2002 season begins.
Well, it's just used men's clothing. How could you collect this? Maybe you're not fortunate enough to play on an NFL field, but you are fortunate enough to own a jersey that was worn by a player who played in an NFL game.
And another perfect bomb by Brett Favre.
And it's like you become a part of that experience. You're part of that play. The game used market is a more hardcore group of individuals. These are people who really know what they want.
Right now, we are going to see a full Tom Brady game-used uniform. This is the main reason I wanted to come to this show. When you talk about a caliber player like Brady, it's worth a huge amount of money. It was worn December 5th, 2004, and December 20th, 2004.
Brady play action fake, floats it end zone, touchdown.
This being a billion-dollar industry, there are a lot of people who are trying to pull one over on good, honest collectors. The two things that we commonly get calls for are fraud and theft. Fraud, somebody's into faking game-used jerseys.
No, he said this is game worn. I'm looking at
Steelers
it.
some.
He said the Steelers sold this on there, but this part right here is not real material right here.
No, they would have stitches on it.
That's what it
Guy said this was a game-worn jersey. I felt the material, and for some reason, it didn't feel like the material that I remember us playing. I told him, you might want to get that checked out if you are thinking that it's, authentic.
The reason I can tell is because it's too heavy. See, I would burn up.
As far as the theft, there are a number of reasons why people may engage in theft. First and foremost is money, of course, because money drives everything. So if they see the opportunity, steal an object, sell it, and capitalize on the value.
It could have been team staff, it could have been somebody else, could have been somebody from security who grabbed it and threw it in a bag.
We had an equipment guy that actually had a penchant for taking players' jerseys and helmets and things and selling them on the black market.
Certain collectors may steal objects because they have a certain pull to an object. They really want that object, but they know either that object is not for sale or they can never afford that object. So they're gonna take that object and keep it for themselves.
Once it's reported stolen, the value definitely drops on it because not many people are going to want to touch it with a 10-foot pole.
That jersey, it belongs to the sport, the Brady family. That jersey needs to be hung up with an autograph on
Right,
it.
and you'll never really know in the open market that is the jersey that he wore because you're going to have to keep it such a secret to whoever buys it.
Some people get a kick out of that, though. They have a secret. Nobody else knows in the world that I have this object.
It was a whodunit, and it was time to figure it out. We put on a tremendous Super Bowl, and then here comes the news that the winning quarterback's jersey somehow disappeared. While this, in the big scheme of things, was a big nothing, it's an everything, because what if somebody was there to actually do something else besides taking sports memorabilia from the winning quarterback? It was a whodunit, and it was time to figure it out.
Gentlemen, there is no doubt in my mind this was an inside job. It's Julian Edelman.
What?
Yes.
The ultimate betrayal.
Julian Edelman, it is so clearly him. He had the access, and the motive is that he is his biggest fan. The man crush, the bromance is off the charts. He grabbed that jersey. That's what happened.
I like it.
Edelman
I like it.
in the locker room with the red gloves.
So Fox is doing the game. So when you're doing the Super Bowl, obviously, you're gonna have a ton of cameras everywhere to get anything and everything you possibly can.
My next step was to reach out to Eric Shanks, president of Fox Sports. He said, "What do you need?" I said, "Well, Tom Brady's jersey we think it was taken. We know there'll be video in the locker room, and we know there'll be video in the tunnels leading up to the locker room. I'd like to see if you can find out where those videos are." He called me back in 15 minutes and he said, "Those videos are en route from Houston to Oklahoma City. Do you want me to intercept?" I said, "Please." So then I explained to Dave McCain that we had these videos coming from Fox Sports and they were going to be at Gillette Stadium in a conference room.
So once we were at Foxborough, it was myself, Dick Farley, Patriots security staff, and a couple FBI agents. We started reviewing the different camera angles. There were two specifically that we were looking at. One was the tunnel entrance into the locker room, and the other one was a camera that was in a common area just outside of the physical locker room.
We had no idea at the time who it was, but the best evidence is going to be those video cameras in the locker room and in the tunnel leading up to the locker room.
Before Super Bowl 51, he reached out to me on eBay wanting to buy a Deion Branch game-worn jersey. After he received the jersey, he messaged me and he's like, "Did I send you pictures of, the rest of my collection?" And I said no. So he sent me photos of everything he had, nearly 30 photos or so. Every collector that has some decent jerseys loves to show it off. Showing a jersey to a normal person, they don't understand the historical significance or why we value the jerseys, so showing it to another collector is the way we get our little high. He had every big name you can think. He had Barry Sanders, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. I mean, you name a player and he had it. And front and centered was Tom Brady's Super Bowl 49 jersey. I just did a quick photo match. Photo matching is always the key to making sure a jersey is authentic. Take your jersey that you have in your hands, or somebody sends you some pictures, and you compare them to what game it's said to be in. The key that I had was the back of the nameplate. There were some very specific stains in the way that the jersey was wrinkled when Brady hit the grass. Those are stains that you cannot replicate. And I was like, holy crap, he has Tom Brady's Super Bowl 49 jersey, Shouldn't that be in Tom Brady's house or the NFL Hall of Fame? And I was like, how'd you get it? I mean, I don't care if it was legally or illegally. I'm just so impressed that you have that jersey. And he's like, it's a long story, I'll tell you later. He never told me later. Chris Aroni's a special agent from the ATF out of Boston, and we first met September of 2016. I forwarded those photos to Agent Aroni, and I was like, holy cow, this guy has Brady's Super Bowl 49 jersey.
Oh, I knew immediately it was the real deal without question. It had all the grass stains on it, all the appropriate markings and cut that Tom Brady would wear. Tom wears a very short jersey. It's altered. It's almost cropped at the waist. It doesn't come from the factory like that. He has it altered afterwards.
I never like it too long. It always has to sit right at my belt. We used to get them really long. You'd have to tuck them in all the time, but now they cut them, right around the waistline. The sleeves have to be the perfect length. They have to tug in the right spot. You can't have too much fabric because you give the defense too much to grab. It can't be too tight because you don't want to be restricted at all.
Tom Brady on the last two throws delivered perfect ball. This is close. The Patriots win the Super Bowl.
Minutes after the game, I started seeing reports on the NFL social media that Brady's jersey was missing.
Someone stole my game jersey.
Tom reported that his 51 jersey had been stolen, and he also had made a statement that his Super Bowl 49 jersey from 2 years prior against the Seahawks was also stolen, and that was the first time I had heard of that one being stolen.
Chris shot me a text message. It said that Brady's Super Bowl 49 jersey was also stolen, and I was like, I know where that jersey is.
So I had reached out to Dylan and I had asked for all the information that he had. His eBay user ID, his first and last name, his mailing address, his email, and maybe even a phone number.
It could be a stretch, but if this jersey's missing and this jersey's missing, there's a good chance the guy has both of them.
I reached out to an FBI special agent in Chicago, Brian Brusakis, who I have dealt with on previous sports memorabilia-related cases. I reached out to him and asked him if he had any information or was looking for any information on the case, and he said, "Send me what you got."
The sooner we exhaust all the leads we can to look for more and more leads to generate a possible location, the better chance we get. The more time that occurs, it becomes more and more difficult because more people can get involved. The object can actually travel somewhere.
I didn't get any, definitive confirmation because it was the FBI and it was an ongoing investigation, but I did get my little hints that they were, on the right path to recovering the jerseys.
How do we feel about a Victory Monday win?
NFL locker rooms post-game are crazy in the regular season. In a Super Bowl post-game locker room, it's the perfect place to steal something of great value. The players are just on a different level. Nobody's really concerned with anything but celebrating.
We have to realize that at the end of a Super Bowl, because it is the NFL's pinnacle of an event, there are so many people in there that are not normally in your locker room post-game. The NFL has PR reps from other teams in your locker room, and what they're doing, they're coming and getting players, taking them for interviews.
There's so many people in the locker room. There's a lot of our own staff, there's NFL staff. You pass so many faces, especially at a Super Bowl. I mean, it's mayhem, it's a circus.
But everybody in there seemed to have a role apart from this one individual who just appeared to be out of place.
So Fox had 3 cameras in and around the locker room, one inside and one at each entrance.
In going back and looking at that tunnel video, we noticed that that same person that we saw in the common area had actually followed Coach Belichick into the locker room.
And the guy starts just making a beeline and just naturally falls in right behind him in line. I mean, it was brilliant. It was some Ocean's 11 stuff.
And the guy was looking up at the camera and just, he had guilt written all over him, to be honest with you.
And the fact that we have a camera right there in the locker room and he looks right up, right into our camera, that's the money shot right there. When we saw that, we were like, oh my God, there he is.
And once they had locker room video, I was like, well, they're gonna definitely find this person.
There was a 7-minute gap in that footage, though, inside the locker room right after the Patriots came in after the win. And that's where the Patriots in-house footage helped close that gap.
In that video, you can see at one point he actually takes a selfie with Tom Brady.
You gotta send the full body, put that on Instagram.
He actually took a selfie with Tom Brady before he actually took the shirt. I hate to give the guy any credit, but he was quite professional in what he had done. It was obvious that he was not afraid in any way.
It's incredible what you can get accomplished when you just act like you belong somewhere.
So this is a screenshot from the video within the locker room, obviously looking for the opportunity and timing to take that jersey.
Very quickly after that, you see him walking out, again using the Fox footage, walking out of our locker room back into the tunnel towards the field with a bag, plastic bag, which he never had on his person prior to this time. And then as he's walking down towards the field, he looks back at the camera and carries on walking. In hindsight, you can look at it and say, the guy's making a getaway. If you'd have just looked at it and not seen anything, you wouldn't have given it a second look. But we were looking for the person who committed this act, and it became pretty obvious once you put everything together that there he is walking away with it.
Now we have a photograph of the individual in that locker room whom we believe is the guy. We don't know who he is, so Dave McCain brought his material with him of everybody who was credentialed for that Super Bowl, and we began making comparisons. Here's photograph number 1, credentialed person, not him. 2, not him. 3, 100, 200, 250, 300. The 847th individual we looked at, and everybody at the same time said, bingo, that's him.
The amazing part to me is everything that transpired from the time that it was taken till after the game and the coordination between so many different people. And I got a call from the FBI. I was like, man, this is really serious. The FBI is involved. And I said, do you think you know who the person is? And they said, well, we actually have some locker room video.
They had him identified a week after the Super Bowl, combining the Fox footage with the Patriots in-house footage. They compared that person's face to a database of about 800 people.
The 847th individual we looked at, and everybody at the same time said, bingo, that's him. Guy's name is Martin Ortega.
Once we identified him in our credentialing database as a member of the media, just about then the FBI agents in the same room that we were in had received a phone call from Agent Bersakis, who said that the person that Dylan had been communicating with was a subject by the name of Martin Ortega. So it corroborated what we had seen in the video and what we connected through our credentialing database.
That happened within, minutes of each other. So we knew we had the right individual.
So it was really a confluence of information all at once, and here was their man.
Being able to figure out who the suspect was, it gives the NFL an opportunity to go back and then study old film of all these different events to see what this person's actions were, how he acted, what he had with him, what did he carry.
This was not his first Super Bowl. He had been to many before. I think coming to previous Super Bowls and being allowed access to the field gained him the insight on how the field reacted after a game and how his media credential allowed him access that normal person didn't.
He would dress like PR officials or other functionaries wearing a dark suit so that he would seem like he blended in the post-game festivities. He wore a tie that covered his press pass so you couldn't tell what color it was and where and when he had access to.
At that time, access to the locker room was restricted only to club members. That was very brazen. He feels that he can do just about anything.
1 or 2 a.m., I walk to the shuttle, and when I walk inside, Mauricio told me, hey, come here. The jersey, it was between us in a backpack, and I didn't know it.
If the NFL credentials you, then I think that there's this expectation that you're going to behave a certain way, and they haven't really had that norm violated in a long time. So nobody's really watching journalists.
Just to understand what this guy did for a living. He wasn't an intern or a copy editor. This guy was an executive at a huge publication.
Specifically La Prensa in Mexico City. I called our security representative in Mexico City and asked him if the federal police there would assist us if we came down there. And a short time later, he called back and said that they would support us 100%.
So he's looking up at Tom saying, hopefully one day I can get up there without catching frostbite.
Mi nombre es Gabriel Pacheco y soy periodista. Yo trabajé para la prensa del 2005 al 2010. Mauricio Ortega era el director. Recuerdo que lo primero que me dijo, porque yo cubría fútbol americano, fue: a mí me toca ir al Super Bowl. Yo siempre voy al Super Bowl. La acreditación yo la utilizo.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
Mauricio era más fanático, más fan que periodista. Pero es de estos aficionados que se sentía orgulloso de tener la fotografía con los famosos, con las grandes estrellas, con los jugadores importantes.
Once we identified Martin Ortega as the subject, we did a social media scrub. There were some very interesting pictures of what appeared to be a game room at his residence in Mexico City that contained a large amount of NFL football items. Here you have a picture from one of his daughter's social media accounts where they're both dressed in jerseys. Another picture of what we dubbed as the man cave. We have different pictures of this that we received also from Dylan, where you can see different items of NFL memorabilia on display.
We found an eBay profile for him, and he had been successful in trading NFL memorabilia before.
he was buying stuff on my auctions. It's back, it's gotta be in the 90s, you know? Very nice guy, and he kept collecting.
He registered for one of our online auctions, and he ended up winning a game-used jersey from us from Joe Montana's rookie year. It was in the $28,000 range, I believe. And he asked me at that point, what would Von Miller's helmet be worth from Super Bowl 50? And it was only 3 or 4 months after Super Bowl 50, and I thought it odd he would have the MVP of the Super Bowl's game-used helmet.
A lot of people wondered, how did he fund this with the salary that someone in his position would have made? It was an expensive habit. He was an active buyer and seller of memorabilia, totally as a side gig to his job as a director of a newspaper in Mexico. The Tom Brady jersey, he could have sold for a lot of money had this not turned into an international incident.
It turned out to be a pretty interesting thing that happened with the jersey.
Hey, did someone take my jersey? I put it in my bag. I absolutely 100% put it in my bag.
In fact, the jersey is no longer in the United States, it's in another country.
I think the group that was most intent on recovering the jersey was the Mexican government. At the time, Mexico-American relations politically were a little bit in limbo. While the law enforcement communities were working hand in hand, the Mexican government didn't really know what the relationship was going to be like with Donald Trump and his administration going forward. And they're dealing with this ongoing drug war after the arrest of El Chapo that doesn't seem to have an end in sight. And yet, they're prioritizing this jersey because they're so worried about the Mexico-American relationship.
We went to the U.S. Embassy and spoke with the FBI agents there and briefed them on the case.
We then met with the Chief Federal Prosecutor's Office and people from his office. We laid out all the evidence which we had, and they were very, very, very cooperative.
Tuvimos una excelente colaboración entre la Procuraduría General de la República y el FBI de los Estados Unidos a través de la Embajada de Estados Unidos en México. Alrededor del el 24 de febrero, presenta una denuncia ante la Procuraduría General de la República.
I was actually shocked that Ortega didn't hear about it already, because we're bringing down affidavits for arrest and search warrants, passing them out in Mexico City. I thought somebody's gonna call this guy, and he'll destroy, get rid of the jerseys.
Para la recuperación de los jerseys de Tom Brady, hicimos una solicitud ante la autoridad judicial a obtener un cateo. Esta orden de cateo o este ingreso se realiza el 3 de la mañana, insisto, del día 12 de marzo de 2017.
They go to Ortega's neighborhood, and this neighborhood is kind of a middle class, upper middle class neighborhood in Mexico City. And a lot of those places are guarded by armed guards with assault rifles.
Hola. Vamos a la casa de Mauricio Ortega.
Se le establece cuál es el motivo de la diligencia, que era la recuperación de estos dos jerseys de Tom Brady, del Super Bowl 49 y Super Bowl 51, y él de manera voluntaria los entrega.
I'm sure he was nervous and somewhat scared, maybe surprised to have the federal police knocking on his door, asking for these jerseys back.
When they talked to him, he immediately admitted it. You know, you wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I got stolen property in my house, you're gonna have it.
He hands it over to the authorities. The Mexican government official takes a picture as proof of the exchange, and they say, do you have anything else?
Adicionalmente de entregar estos dos jerseys correspondientes a Tom Brady, entrega un casco.
We received a call after the federal police went to the house. They said they were successful in not only recovering Super Bowl 51 jersey, but also Super Bowl 49, and that they had an additional recovery of Von Miller's Super Bowl 50 helmet.
Mexican government put a lot of their resources into not only finding Ortega and the jersey, but identifying it and making sure that they didn't get duped. They had some of their forensic investigators watch the game and try to identify and match that up with the actual jersey that they recovered from Ortega. They desperately wanted a victory in this.
Aproximadamente la investigación para recuperar los jerseys y su entrega tanto al FBI y la NFL fue de 3 semanas. Y de manera formal se le entrega al FBI el 15 de marzo de 2017.
They triumphantly return on a commercial flight to Logan Airport with the jerseys packed in a carry-on bag. I mean, that's pretty good theater.
Analysts analyzed the jerseys in the FBI office in Lakeville, Massachusetts, the area that covers Gillette Stadium. Brady's jerseys are very singular to him because it's cut off at the bottom and then hemmed around. So it's really very Brady specific, like a fingerprint.
Remember, in the locker room, you said, hey, it's missing. And I said, we better check the internet. Well, thanks to our good friends' cooperation, there it is.
That's pretty cool. RKK got the jersey back in his possession. He gave it to me at his house, which was really cool. And then I wanted to bring it to Fenway because we were throwing out the first pitch.
The scene at Fenway Park, opening day 2017, it's what you see in movies. The crowd is loud, everyone's going crazy, they're cheering.
We walked out and the crowd went nuts and we had those trophies.
And I said, Gronk, you know what'd be really funny is if you pretended like you stole the jersey.
We were in the back. He told me he was gonna kind of do it, and he's like, yo, Rob, steal a jersey from me when I whip it out. I was like, all right. He whips out the jersey, the place is going wild, and then I come out of nowhere when it's up in the air, give a little jump, grab the jersey from him, and the crowd started going nuts. He played it perfectly. Yeah, it was a great setup, so that was dope.
I thought we had a lot of fun with it. I hope the fans enjoyed it too.
When we were sure it was on American soil, we put out the whole huge timeline. We put out the name, put out where he worked. Mauricio Ortega is, and that's where you see him right there.
There he is. Now.
He is a director of one of the biggest newspapers in Mexico. I have a gym here in LA called Unbreakable Performance. And Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, and Aaron Rodgers were all working out at the gym when this is going on. So I get off TV and I go back to the gym and I show it to Edelman and Amendola and Aaron. All of a sudden they're like, I remember that guy. But you don't remember that guy. Like, but it's like, but they all three of them laughed, but then they all got really angry because their thought was, man, this guy really invaded our privacy.
For the very first time, Mexican authorities identifying the alleged suspect.
What went through my mind is like, you know, I couldn't believe it, but I could believe because he had credentials.
The alleged thief's identity revealed by Mexican authorities as Mauricio Ortega.
He asked me about the Von Miller helmet. I never put 2 and 2 together, but now the pieces kind of fell in place.
I was mad he never gave me the stuff.
Mauricio Ortega is, and that's where you see him right there, right?
No lo podía creer que fuera capaz, pero empecé a recordar todos los objetos que él tenía. Empecé a entender por dónde iba su acto. En México fue un escándalo. El periódico, cuando se da cuenta que era un tema internacional, decide destituir a Mauricio Ortega como el director general del periódico.
I tried to call him a lot of times. He never answered to me.
I tried to talk to Ortega at his house, and a man poked their head through the curtains and looked at us and then shut it.
No sé qué pasó con Mauricio Ortega.
I want to know his story.
I'd have sympathy for him if I heard his side of the story.
What's happened inside his mind?
Hola, mi nombre es Mauricio Ortega Camberos. Mi nombre es Mauricio Ortega Camberos. Estas son de las primeras fotos que me tomé con jugadores de fútbol americano. Fueron de los Vaqueros de Dallas que vinieron al Estadio Azteca. Como se ve, muchas fotos son muy forzadas. Todavía no había las selfies, pero pues ahí yo las estaba implementando, poniéndome a un lado de los jugadores. Esta es una foto curiosa que pues evidentemente yo no me la tomé. Es el momento en que Aaron Rodgers está levantando su trofeo y curiosamente aquí hay un intruso. Me sentía como un niño en Disneylandia. Esta es otra parte de la colección. el confeti que se hace durante la entrega del trofeo Vince Lombardi. Estas son las dos últimas del Super Bowl 51. Gronkowski, Tom Brady. Tenemos esta foto de Jerry Rice, que amablemente me prestó su anillo de uno de los Super Bowls. Esta foto también es muy importante. Es una entrevista que comandante Fidel Castro en Cuba. Nada tiene que ver con esto, pero para mí es muy, muy importante, por eso las tenemos aquí. Esta es la primera foto que me tomé con Tom Brady. Este es el jersey de Joe Montana, de sus primeros años. Y es importante para mí porque de los jugadores que admiré cuando comencé a ver fútbol americano, pues fue Joe Montana. Y pues tengo unos zapatos de Tom Brady, utilizados también en juego y firmados. Tengo muy bonitos recuerdos y pues esto es lo que va a quedar como recuerdo de estos años en el Super Bowl. No sé si lo volvería a hacer, si tuviera la oportunidad, con esa pasión con la que seguía a los jugadores. Ahora entiendo que fue una especie de idolatría al juego, a los jugadores. Yo creo que se puede hacer sanamente. Y en mi caso pues, salió de control, ahora lo entiendo. Ahora que analizo lo que pasó, creo que esto es muy semejante o igual a una adicción. Invertí en eso, invertí en los artículos, lo que pues me derivó finalmente a querer más y a tener lo que nadie podía tener, como el jersey de Tom Brady.
2 yards from a 5th Super Bowl championship. Toss sweep right for James White. Driving forward, diving to the goal line. A touchdown and a title for the Patriots. They have completed the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history, led by the greatest quarterback.
Efectivamente, yo tomé el jersey de Tom Brady del Super Bowl 51, lo cual lo lamento muchísimo. Pues sí me acreditaba como periodista, teniendo la oportunidad, pero acudía no para trabajar, sino para vivir este ambiente del fútbol americano. Es realmente una experiencia indescriptible.
So, at what point did you decide to go into the Patriots locker room?
Prefiero no entrar en el detalle. Lo que sí te puedo decir, Joe, es que en ningún momento estuvo planeado tomar lo que no me pertenecía. Eso te lo puedo garantizar. Y de testigo está el Señor.
You already had the Super Bowl 49 jersey and Von Miller's Super Bowl 50 helmet. How do you explain having these in your possession?
Sorry. No. Cuando salí del estadio, sabía que se iban a enterar que fui yo. No por el jersey del Super Bowl 51, sino por haber compartido fotografías del otro jersey. Sabía que lo que había hecho estaba mal. Si Tom Brady estuviera sentado aquí, es algo que no descarto, que algún día Tom Brady pueda venir a esta casa. Es bienvenido. Me daría mucho gusto. Tom Brady, acepta mis disculpas. Estoy bastante apenado. Fueron arranques de un fan descontrolado. Lo importante es que tienes tus jerseys. Vas a seguir teniendo jerseys, vas a seguir teniendo triunfos. Le pido al Señor que te siga bendiciendo para que tú puedas bendecir a la gente que te rodea, a tu familia, a tu esposa, a tus hijos, tus compañeros de equipo y a los millones de aficionados que semana tras semana te siguen.
Wow. Apology accepted, and this is something that I think we've all learned from. Everyone makes mistakes. You look around in society all the time. We just hope that our mistakes don't leave permanent scars. And, I think things that you make mistakes and learn from become real positives in your life. We do things with a lack of judgment sometimes, but when you learn from those, I think they can improve your life, as it seems to have done with Martin.
Sí, la idea es seguir escribiendo nuevos capítulos en mi vida, pero van a ser buenos.
Tanto mis hijos como yo sabemos que Mauricio no es el hombre perfecto. Tú tienes que afrontar las consecuencias de todo lo que hiciste, pero estoy yo a tu lado, pase lo que pase.
In some ways, this was the perfect crime because once he flies back to Mexico with the jersey in his bag, he's almost assured to not spend a night in jail.
In Mexico, it's a shirt. It's an $80 shirt. They were anticipating in the Mexican government that if Ortega tried to fight this charge, that he would say that the value of the thing is only $80 here. The state's prosecutors were very worried that his legal argument would actually hold up there.
I think that if someone in the United States had really pushed it, perhaps it would have been different. But I think all along the intention was go retrieve the jerseys, bring them back to Brady, and everyone can move on.
They said to me, is this anything you want to pursue in terms of a criminal activity? And I said, absolutely not. The jersey, in essence, is still a jersey, and I didn't want anyone's life to be changed because of, something like that.
So the Mexican government was pretty relieved that Tom Brady and the Patriots only wanted the jersey back, and they didn't want Ortega prosecuted. And then when they get to the United States for a diplomatic visit, Jeff Sessions, in talking about the relationship with the Mexican government, cites the capture of El Chapo and the recovery of Tom Brady's jersey as if they're akin. And if you're in Mexico, the jersey is just completely irrelevant to you. But to the highest levels of government, it was an important thing.
By the way, I am very happy that the individual in the press corps who took Tom Brady's jersey, that has been returned properly. Another bad on the press, but we have righted that wrong.
Dylan, this is Robert Kraft from the New England Patriots. Just want to thank you for the great role you played in helping us get Tommy's jerseys back. Thanks again for being such a responsible citizen of this great country. Be well.
When I got the news that, both of the jerseys were recovered, it was March 20th, which is actually my birthday, so I got to wake up to a pretty neat voicemail from Robert Kraft thanking me for everything that I've done.
You see these?
Oh my goodness.
They're in the club. These are,
oh my goodness.
These are first row.
Thank you so much.
Nice pregame, so.
Oh my gosh.
You
can have a hug with them.
Yeah.
Thank you. In July of 2017, I received a surprise package from Tom Brady. This ball right here is probably my most valuable thing, not in terms of dollars, but in terms of my prized possessions, because the story behind it is awesome.
We were portraying the jersey from this Super Bowl as a Rembrandt. It's a work of art at the end of the day, and what is the value of that?
We don't know today the historical significance that one particular object will have 200 years from now.
Is the value $500,000? Is the value more than $500,000 because of who wore it, the significance of the game?
this one.
People pass away, stories get lost. These things are forever. It's a text, it's an object, it's a way to connect with the past.
I keep it in my office, and I have this little silver top hat. I kind of stuff the jersey in there, inside of this top hat that's turned upside down. And it just kind of sticks out of that right on top of these books. And every time I walk in there, I see the jersey. For me, it's a real point in time in life, and it was something to really be happy about. But also, that moment in time has passed, and now there's other triumphs. As Martin said, there's other jerseys for me to try to, make some history with. It speaks to the power of athletes and sports in general in our society and how influential they are on people's lives. And it's amazing, these jerseys are like relics. They tell the history of the game, not only visually, but tangibly, that when you show up to museums, these tell a story. And the stories are pretty great to be told, and they're great to be remembered. I'm glad to play the small part in what I do, and proud to be associated with it all. I think it's been an amazing story to tell. I pinch myself every time I think about my career and all the things that have been achieved, but I'm still trying to achieve more.
The Patriots have won Super Bowl 53, and they have tied the Pittsburgh Steelers with 6 Super Bowl championships.
Who's your jersey tonight? Hey, I want that jersey.